Welcome back to Conan Exiles. Siptah. I'm Leech with Litterbox Gaming, and today I hope to be your guide for obtaining all of those basic resource needs so you can quickly build up to get where you want to be in game. With that said, we'll go ahead and move forward. And today we're going to start off with iron ore. You can tell by the rocks surrounding it that the iron itself has an almost rusty quality to the raised ridges. Depending upon if you're playing on a different generation of graphics card or if you're playing on console, there might be some differences in appearances, but largely you're going to be looking for like that burnt umber, rusty look. Now, if we check out the map that's going to be displayed right about now, you'll be able to see all the locations for Aloe iron nodes. If you're not here again for Aloe, please check the link right about now for any of your needs in the exiled lands. Again, remember you can feel free to bookmark this video or like and subscribe so that you can easily come back and find materials as you need them. The black and yellow stalagmite type structure you see in front of us is Brimstone. Those of you returning from the Exiled Lands map will notice immediately it looks pretty much like we would expect, except for it is a little darker black, or at least in my displays, the black is much more pronounced with the yellow. I don't know if it's because of the update or if it's because of the new map, but texturally it has changed a little bit. Now, if we look at the map, you'll see that it is a little bit more sparsely placed and you're going to find iron ore and some of the other materials. If you farm initially around the perimeter, you're going to be a-okay. Once you build up and you're leveled up with better gear, hit up the central area. You're going to find it in much more abundance. The one thing I will say is if you're in a PvP map, go warily. Also, if you're just starting out, be prepared to run. Have your stamina up as well as your carry weight capacity. Charcoal is yet another material that you're going to find a little bit more sparsely than iron ore, but it's going to be a lot better than crystal and brimstone. As you see, it's a dark black rock. Depending upon your graphic settings, what your rendering abilities are, again, if it's raining, the time of day, sometimes regular rocks can kind of give that black tone as well. But you should be able to pretty easily pick out and identify, based upon what you're seeing here, what coal is. If you check out the map that's going to be popping up right about now, you'll see all the wonderful locations that you too can obtain coal for your burning needs. And that brings us to black ice. As you can tell, it kind of has that crystalline quality to it, with those hues of gray and black. Occasionally you'll even see kind of like a gunmetalish blue or an off bluish tone to it, as well as those highlights of white around the edges. It's real easy to get it confused with crystal at times or regular ice. So just bear in mind, you're going to really want to look for those like darker blackish hues. Now, if we check out the mini-map, you'll see all the locations are a little bit more sparsely spread. So you're not just going to find them in one cold central location or a northern location with icy mountaintops. No, they're kind of spread throughout the map, which is definitely a much needed change. Crystal, as you can see, has two different forms that you'll see in this map. One is a small little rock-like node, but it still has kind of those clean, straight lines along the interior to give it that defining shape. And then you'll see it again in kind of that crystalline black ice look, but again, those interior nice clean lines. It's white, hints of pale blue occasionally, Um, on a rare occasion, it'll look kind of gray or smoky, depending upon the time of day or weather. But just bear in mind, if you're looking at those interior lines, even at night, if you don't have a torch or it breaks, you should still be pretty easily able to figure out what it is. Now, if you check out the map, here you'll see a list of all the locations that you'll be able to obtain crystal. Gold is very easy to identify, though it's kind of sparsely placed. You'll be able to see the dark rock tone very brightly contrasting with the gold flecks and veins within it. Kind of like the iron ore, but just much more pronounced by the darker rock and the bright vividness of the gold. Now, if you check the map, you'll see all the locations that you'll be able to harvest gold from. Silver ore is, again, one of those rocks that are super easy to identify. Depending upon what your graphics capabilities are, like you'll see on my screen, there's tiny little flecks of blue depending upon the angle that you're looking at it from. But largely, all you have to look for is that dark coloration of rock with that bright contrast of white and silver. With that said, if you check out the map, you'll see all the locations for silver ore. If at any point this feels like it's going too quick, please feel free, pause, or even bookmark this video so that you can come back and continue to utilize it to help you easily identify and obtain resources. Gossamer is going to be one of those materials you're not going to find in an overabundance, but it's still going to be quite available on the Isle of Siptah. With that said, you're going to be able to find it within spiders. You'll also find it within these wonderful little egg sacs still. Now you can utilize the sickle or you can still hand pick it. If you look at the map, you'll see again all those locations you can obtain gossamer to make your silk. Alright, so on your search for dry wood, we're going to look for trees very similar to that was found on the exiled lands. So these long, ashy looking barren trees, and all you want to do is take an axe to them. That will give you sometimes a little bit of bark, mostly dry wood, and occasionally you'll even get these branches. Now, if you switch up to a pickaxe, you'll increase your yield of bark from those. If you're looking for sap, you'll largely want to farm up the evergreens, although you can get small yields from other trees at random drop rates. You definitely want to look for more of the evergreen style trees. You can either harvest them with a pickaxe or you can chop them on down for a higher yield of wood. Then all you have left to do is throw regular wood into a dryer along with some bark, and it'll produce dry wood as well as it'll give you a nice yield of sap. Now if you check the map, I'm not going to post all the tree locations because that would just be heinous, but I will post the location where you can farm up these nice dry looking trees. That way at least you'll have something to go by, and you'll also have a place where you can increase your yield for bark farming. Okay, so not a lot has changed with star metal. You can use a combination of oil orbs and fire orbs, or you can use explosive jars or fire, explosive arrows to get them to crack. It usually takes a couple to stack, and it will eventually crack for you. You'll see the nice blue interior, and you just pick away. Unfortunately, with the server updates, recent updates to the game itself, we've had a little bit of an issue getting things to kind of balance out to where it spawns regularly. So, with that said, I just wanted to make sure that this was accessible and viewable on your maps so that you have an idea. The central spire is where you're going to find it, and you will find it at the bottom black ground area of that spire, but you can also find it in the grasslands along the perimeter of that. A lot of times you'll find nodes in bushes along with other rocks, so just look for those little pillows or billowing spires of smoke that come off of them. Although it's not a snowy location, you still get those. Up next on our list is Aloe. Again, wonderful little bulbous plant. Looks pretty much like the namesake. Occasionally you'll see it with these reddish yellow tinted flowers at the top. And all you gotta do is pick it by hand, and you'll find it all along these river banks. You'll also find a small amount at the northern tip. So as we continue, I'll go ahead and put that map up again. Here's all the locations. Now your main concentrations is going to be on western waterways, and then you're going to have a slightly heavier concentration over to the eastern waterways, slightly inland. So again, I would like to say thank you for joining us. Hopefully this content has helped, and if you have any questions, things that you would like to see covered in the future, make sure to comment down below. If you've enjoyed it, if this has been of any assistance at all, hit that like button, subscribe. That's how a small community becomes a big family. As always, thank you again, and laters.